community update is something new that we wanted to introduce like forever. And finally, we are here. Łukasz, maybe introduce yourself if somebody doesn't know you for any reason.
Sorry, I was just setting up my also channel to see all the questions. Hello, everyone. Thanks, Stefan, for reminding us about English. Of course, the rest of the conversation will be held in English. My name is Łukasz. Tim, should I just present myself better?
I think so. I mean, let's assume somebody doesn't know you.
So you all might know me from the GitHub repository for the last. Right now, it's 8th year on the Sylius repository. Right now, with the I'm the core team lead and IP designer and architect. So I'm usually doing some reviews from this side, and mostly recently I'm working close to the new core team that we'll talk a little bit more in the following minutes. And that would be all from my side, Tim.
Yeah, I'm here today in the role of webinar presenter and community censor. So I'm like part-time job community manager for Sylius. And other than that, I also am a business lead. So you might know me from Slack for sure if you're part of our community. Okay, let's start with the content. What can you expect from today? The general introduction is already behind us, but later on and very soon, we're gonna start with business overview. So what does the new release actually means for business owners, e-commerce managers, and why it's valuable to update? Community context. So what was this history of this release? Like, why did we come to this situation of deciding about this scope of features and not any other? Then we're gonna have a short demo of the new release, and then Łukasz gonna take over with the technical insights, and live Q&A will be the end of the webinar. So feel free to post your questions in writing, and we're gonna answer all of them at the end. If something is like popping up during the webinar, you can also ask on the very end again. Okie dokie. So what is the main value of the latest release? Of course, the tremendous amount of love, because we did it on the Valentine's Day, which is very important in nowadays world when everybody is in rush. But also catalog promotions, which is obviously like a total standard for e-commerce. It has been a feature that we were discussing for years to be implemented, and there were multiple feedbacks about it, and finally it's there. Also some performance optimizations and the general, as we call it, headlessness progress. So what does it mean in detail? We're gonna see very, very soon. One of the things, obviously, in terms of performance is getting to new levels and new versions of the underlying software of your platform. For us, it's obviously PHP language and Symfony as a framework. So PHP 8.0 is already required for the 1.11 Sylius version, and Symfony 5.4 is supported. We're obviously looking towards Symfony 6, but it's like, you know, we need some time to get there, but we're gonna be probably one of the first on the market, as it has been in the past, to support the newest Symfony edition. And the headlessness coverage, it's like never-ending story, because Sylius started before the headless era, and we could count like the last 2 years with all this API platform effort as the conscious move towards headless. So we're implementing the best standardized API format in the Symfony ecosystem, not reinventing the wheel, using well-known API framework, and we are very close finally to the finish of this migration. And this is the screenshot of the brand new feature catalog promotions. I hope you have already checked it out. If you haven't, this is what in general catalog promotions are. So giving a label and a discount to the whole catalog. It could be a catalog consisting of a specific variant or taxon. It could be a scope that is defined from many different products. So it could be like, you can imagine in all the fashion stores, new arrivals, for example, for every product from different category that is new to the store. And the community context. So how did it happen that we have this feature and this release? So a lot of stuff has been going on around catalog promotions since, I don't know how long, probably Łukasz, you remember better. There was this old plugin for Urbanara, one of our projects for like, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. Then there was a Locastic plugin, there was Setono plugin. I think Setono's plugin was one of the most recent ones, and it's implemented live in several projects, but it was never a core feature. So we gathered a lot of feedbacks, we looked at all of these plugins, we discussed with the plugins authors who knew the domain of catalog promotions, and we believe that we achieved something standardized, scalable, and customizable as every other Sylius feature. What is more important, maybe not more important, but also important, is that we have listened a lot to your feedback, and the fourth quarter of the last year was mainly about opening ourselves to the community more than ever. So we have launched the Community Pulse channel as a specific place to get all the most important information from the community, like the most awaited reviews and pull requests and issues that should be looked at by the core team. And you've been doing tremendous work there. There are like several people highly involved and helped us a lot. And finally, from this group, we have selected and invited the 3 genius developers that help us grow very fast, and I think much faster than before. So we are using the community power, basically, with the most engaged and most talented developers that joined the core team. And also internally, we managed to grow the development team because we hired 6 new developers. Maybe some of you already met them somewhere on GitHub. 2 others should be announced very soon. These are senior, mid-year, and junior developers. All of them know Symfony, and all of them are learning fast. So I am sure that we're going to have more dev power than ever. We already feel it, actually. And what happened in the time between the releases? So 1.10 was the 29th of June, if I am correct. So we count like 7.5 months, 7.5 months. And within this time, we actually managed to grow quite a lot. So we have like more than 600 new Slack users, plus 300 new GitHub stores, plus 15 new contributors. There could always be more, but we're happy with this number. Plus 700 average daily installs. That's really impressive. Plus 13 new business partners, mainly agencies from France, thanks to Kevin, who joined us as the French country manager in October and is doing tremendous work there. Plus 3 new external core team members that are already mentioned, and plus 6 new internal developers also already mentioned. And altogether, there are nearly 5,000 people on our Slack, so the community is growing really fast, and it's still all organic. It's still all without any external marketing resources, and I think we're still doing great in the Symfony ecosystem. And what is particularly surprising for us is more than 78,000 installs within the last 30 days. It's really crazy. I mean, I would love to know all these people that install Sylius on such an average amount. And as for the newest version, it is the screenshot from yesterday. So I guess there could be around 200 daily installs per version average monthly. As for 1.11, 1.10 was doing very good. As you could see, the blue line. The orange line is just growing, and I think it's going to grow in the upcoming week as everybody needs to update at some point, sooner or later. Source is obviously packages. If you would like to check this data, you could easily find it on the web, on the packages. And also the proof of the growth. So you could see here the point on June, which was the 1.10 release, and there was 2,000 installs per day barrier that we managed to surpass in June. And today we have 2.7K, so 700 more per day as for February 2022. And we are grateful and very happy that you do install Sylius so much. And who are these three successful, beautiful, talented people that join our core team? There are two musketeers from France and one no-name, which is already having a name. Actually, it's Victor Vassiloy, Loic Fremont, and Stéphane Decoq. And you must know them from Slack. If you don't, join our Slack and you will meet them the very same day or the second day, helping you solving some issues on the support channel or on any other channel, being lovely volunteers, and in every case of advice and issue solving. They are amazing people, and thank you guys for joining us. We've been announcing that several times already on the blog and social media, but let's do it again and let's praise them. And I think that's it from the intro, and we should go to the demo. So let me share my screen. There is a first question, but let's keep it for the end, right? Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay. So Sylius Plus administration panel. The catalog promotions are obviously both available in the standard edition and in the Plus edition, which is the enterprise extension commercial version of Sylius. And what can you do in the new edition? You can add catalog promotion, which is the biggest feature actually. I have already added one called webinar just before the webinar. Let's edit it. Let's see what can be done within this interface. You can obviously put a label, which is the most important thing, then visible in the front of the store. Just to show you how it looks like in the very basic demo UI, you could see minus 20% webinar label on every jeans, both for women and for men, because I selected so. And it's only available in the fashion channel. No matter how many channels you have, you can obviously toggle them, and imagine that you operate in multiple countries, or you have B2B, B2C as a separated channel sales. It's up to you on how many channels is going to be available. You can make the promotion exclusive or not. You can make it. You can give it a priority, as it was always available in the catalog promotion, in cart promotions. You can set it as start and end date, and here there is information that for the large catalogs, like, I don't know, 100K products in a catalog, it can take a few minutes to be updated. I know big fashion companies or big companies in general plan their catalog promotions sometimes in the night, so they should start in the morning in a specific time zone. It might differ per channel. Sometimes you sell for US and Europe and China and totally different time zones and totally different channels. So it's all supported as it always was in all languages, all time zones, and all catalogs that you could choose. As for the catalogs, you have scopes, a new concept that I mentioned on the beginning. So you could choose the products, you can choose the variants, or you can simply choose the taxons. I selected the simplest version probably, so I just selected the jeans, and you could give it a percentage or fixed discount. I chose the 20% discount. We can save changes again. There is no change I did actually, but let's save it just to check. And what can be done? Obviously, when you do the shopping, you see also the catalog promotional label on every product page. And also you can combine this lovely feature with the existing feature, which is cart promotion. So what I did here, just before the webinar, I applied another cart promotion called Webinar Cart, only for the specific product called basic regular jeans, which is the 10% additional promotion on the fashion channel. So here in the cart promotion, there is also a new toggle that lets you decide whether to apply this extra discount that should happen in the cart to the already existing discount from the catalog promotions. So you have like endless possibilities and options to choose from here. Obviously, cart promotions is a well-known feature of Sylius. you could see a very similar interface in the catalog promotion, start and end date, all these toggles, coupon-based channels. I think there is no need to explain it in the detail, but just to show you that the additional discount is applied, this is this additional 10% to the already discounted catalog promotion price. And I think that's really it for the demo. And now you see the inception, and I have to stop the screen. And I hand over to Łukasz. If you have any more questions to the demo itself, we can go back to it at the end in the Q&A section. So have fun, Łukasz.
Sure, I'm just waiting for the slides. Okay, so let's go with technical overview. So my part for today will be to give you a few insights. You could already see the blog post that I wrote to make a few changes that we already wrote to describe the things that has changed. But let's also briefly summarize it during this webinar. First of all, let's talk about the API. The biggest changes that happened in API were related to the cart. From now on, when you're adding something to the cart, you can finally use post operation, not the patch. That was some limitation that we had with the API platform, but finally it's resolved. Secondly, you can almost do one-step checkout. So we brought applying coupons, addressing cart, and changing the locker into one endpoint. So it's just updating an order, and we want to be able to do one-step checkout through the API without any issues. So it will be also usable for other regular users for the shop. There are a few things that still needs to be improved, like state machine transition, but this is our idea for that. For now, let's just remember that we brought a few endpoints together to follow also better REST principles, and also that should help you to just follow the structure. Right now, you don't need to think in which state you may apply coupon or not, or should you address the card before or after selecting the payment. The address step is merged to the update. Still, the choosing of the shipment or payment is left as separate steps. The second thing that we introduced since the previous version was contract testing, and this already helped us to discover a few issues. So we fixed them already. Things like not coherent serialization in some endpoints if we presented the same resource several times. Just to also briefly show you how it works. So this is the sample contract test that we're just loading the data, making a request. So as you can see, we're just doing exactly what you would do in the regular application, and then asserting that there will be appropriate response code together with the body of the response. And this is the main reason why I'm showing it to you right now. So the idea is that thanks to the contract testing, it should be easier for you also to understand how Sylius behave and what you can expect, despite the reference of API in open API format, so in Swagger, but also you can see exactly how we are doing it and what are the expected responses. Here you can also see a neat feature from PHP Matcher that we recommend to use. So some stuff, if we are not sure about the value, we can just put the matchers. So it's something that you may find useful for your application. But the most important thing is that we embedded translation into main object of the shop. This means that since 1.11, you are not receiving all of the translation for the product itself. You're receiving the values that will be translated into the body of the request. The issue is that right now it's not possible to change the locker, but we are already working with that, and it will be fixed in the newest patch versions, probably. For moving further, one of the features that we're missing, and you may find useful to provide it to the shop, is finding product by Slack. So finally, if someone will come to the shop from another resource, you don't need to look for the product by code, but you can just take it by Slack. But as we didn't want to also break the REST principles, this endpoint is not returning 200, but it's returning 301. So it's just a permanent redirect. It will be fixed in the newest version in the docs itself. Moving forward, several data providers were used in shop perspective over API. It was super useful. However, it limited the usage of the doctrine filters and filtration feature of the API platform itself. Therefore, we moved most of them to the doctrine extension. We left just a few where it makes sense for us. So just note for you that most of the data providers were replaced with doctrine extension, which means that sorting filtration can be added easier and you can just leverage more features of API platform. Moving forward to Sylius requirements, we already provided support for PHP 8.0 and Symfony 5.4. This is already supported in Sylius 1.10, so you already may take advantage of it if you are even in the older version. Just keep in mind that the Sylius 1.12 will drop the support for Symfony 4.4, and also will already drop the support for PHP 7.4. With the PHP, it's of course because it's end of maintenance at its lifetime, so please update to the newest version. But the point is that you can take your time, slowly update the PHP version first, and then upgrade the Sylius. We don't want you to push you to upgrade several dependencies at the same time. We're putting quite an effort to allow you to make a rolling update, and that's what I wanted to let you know. Also, if any of you already did an update, please let me know in the chat or something. So it would be awesome to hear that some of you already did it or managed, or what is your experience with that. Moving forward to catalog promotion, just a brief overview of the features that we had there. There is like minimal price, which wasn't presented by team during the demo, but it's something that you should remember, that we introduced a new concept for the product pricing, which is the minimal price. This is the price that you cannot discount the product below, because you will just lose the money or something like that. It means that in catalog promotion, some promotion may actually hit the bottom line and will not be discounted further, but it also actually affects the cart promotion. Therefore, there is just regulation that may discount several products. So if you will be applying $10 coupon code, sometimes you will just put $2 of the one item and rest just separate over other items, because you hit the minimal price, which is a pretty neat feature. With the price processing, the team already told you a few things, that we are also improving the performance. There is information that catalog promotion processing may take between 2 to 10 minutes. It's just information that no one should expect that it will work instantly. Usually, even 2 minutes, it's much ahead of our extension. You can just put more workers to make it in parallel. So as the catalog promotion is split into several commands, each command contains only 100 of variants. You can just put more workers to make the catalog promotion processing faster. We also put some efforts to improve the processing itself, thanks to Blackfire. So hopefully it will work flawless for you. And for the future, the things that you may be interested in, we are working on providing promotion campaigns, but that would be probably the plus feature. Plus, we are also investigating and exploring possibility to provide catalog promotion for the customer groups. This is another great feature that will be introduced, but it requires a little bit more work on our side, as it complicates the pricing model. Moving forward to the technical libraries, I would like to put some emphasis on the 3 elements. First of all is the resource bundle. These features are not yet available on the stable release. It's the release candidate, and you could expect them in the 1 week probably. And the resource bundle, if either you can install RC version and check it out, or wait this week, you can first of all start to using Symfony workflow. This brings us closer to the Symfony ecosystem, finally, which is great idea. I just need to also make it clear that we didn't migrate our state machines to Symfony workflow. We just allow you to use Symfony workflow with Sylius and resource bundle. Therefore, there is additional layer in resource bundle that allows you to just decide if you prefer to use Vinsu state machine on Symfony workflow. Therefore, you may just introduce Symfony workflow to some of your features if you would like to migrate it already, or if you're using Sylius without e-commerce or just resource bundle, then you may use Symfony Workflow. Thanks a lot to Loic for his awesome work over this feature. Secondly, we introduced the PHP attributes. PHP 8 is for a few years already with us, so finally, or year and some time already. So it's high time for Sylius to actually bring some of the newest feature to the code base. Therefore, from now on, with the newest Sylius resource bundle release, you can just declare Sylius route with the attributes. Here's some simple example of show endpoint, but you can also create the whole CRUD routes as you know from the YAML notation. Moving forward, there's also a repository trait which should make your life easier when you wish to use Maker Bundle to create entities, and this repository trait should make it work with the service repository that is generated by Maker Bundle. Moving forward to the grid bundle, we also improved a few things here. But first of all, we provided a new syntax flavors for those of you who are tired of YAML or just wish that there will be other possibilities to declare Sylius grid bundles. So in case any one of you forget, this is how the current grid bundle configuration may look like. So as a sample, I have simple grid with some simple filtration, sorting, and 2 fields on it, and limitation. And right now, you can use PHP to declare the same thing. So this is one-to-one example. As you can see, there's like definition of the grid itself with even usage of the parameters. You can add filters to it, which is awesome because first of all, there are several classes that are helpers functions. There's an autocomplete for that function. Also, the arguments are named, so it's easier to comprehend what is expecting from you. You can add filters, you can add fields. There are also a few helper functions here as well, which is much nicer way to do it. And as I mentioned, autocomplete is already there. And the second option is to provide new grids as services, which means that you can just write them directly into your code base and use proper injection, dependency injection into the class if you need some resource class. It just required that we extend some abstract grid and implements appropriate interface. Then we can inject some parameters if you need give it a name. And then we have the same structure that you've seen already with PHP configuration in the config file. The question is to you, which one do you prefer? We just wanted to provide you more options and more possibilities to choose what you like the most. And also the last one from the grid bundle is that we provided make grid command for the integration with Maker Bundle. This command will generate for now only a service-oriented version of the grid, but still should make your life easier and make creation of the grids much smoother. The last point on my list from the technical libraries is the calendar component. It's a super small component that we created for the 1.11. The idea for that was that for many years we had some common factories that created datetimes in several places, but finally we decided to migrate it to separate component that will have some faking abilities, that will also extract just a creation of the new datetime to make our life easier. So the calendar component is there to make it easier to mock the dates or just change the current date if we need for test, and also just to extract the common logic of datetime creation. It's not yet supported through all the codebase, but we are making efforts to actually introduce in other places as well. So what's next, Tim? Will you take over from now?
Yeah, gladly. So what's next? I was thinking that maybe I should show the minimum price thing because it's quite important and quite nice to see in the demo. So let me share my screen like that wasn't planned, but let's do it again. So if you go to the product variant, you have this new thing, channel pricing, and there is quite a big box explaining what are the definitions of different pricings, and you could also see them in our documentation. So the minimum price that Łukasz mentioned is over here as the last one, and I just changed it to 450, which doesn't interfere with the catalog promotion price, so it's still 452 in the front of the store, but if I make it 455 and save changes and refresh the front page, then you could see it's changed, even though it's a little bit more than minus 20% from 5.66 euro. So
if may interrupt you, Tim, because this is also important. May you just stay on the screen that you show us?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to mention that the catalog promotion is recalculated every time that you change something in the catalog promotion. In this way, we are calculating the whole catalog of all the products, because due to the exclusiveness of the catalog promotion, priorities of that, we cannot be sure what is the change over the one product. So we need to recalculate all the catalog promotion. But what you shown us a few seconds ago is that every time you will change something on the product or a product variant itself, it's also recalculating this particular product or product variant to be sure that after the changes of the product, the proper catalog promotion is applied due to some rules of scopes, etc. So I didn't mention it in the blog post, and as you show, I just wanted to make clear that something like that is also implemented already.
Yeah, so it's like I think you guys in the core team and dev team, you did great jobs to foresee all the possible scenarios. Probably there is something that we haven't foreseen, and that's why we are having this webinar, and we're always open for feedbacks. So let me stop the screen again and go back to the presentation. This is the moment when you can add more questions if you haven't, because in the very second we're gonna go through them. But before we do it, let's discuss briefly what is next. So the roadmap on the website got a little update, and as you could see in the current developments, we're focusing on the remaining 50% of the shop API coverage and also new admin API integration ready. We want to also have default Sylius theme facelifting and Symfony 6 support, as already mentioned. And in the dark labels, you could see the plus features, which the most compelling one for the plus customers is returns, splitting, and shipping. So you could choose the resolution of the return on every item, not on the entire return order. That's the main, let's say, improvement of the already existing features. More things will be done as for the next and future stages, because we're still working on them. But the general change is that we wanna have the scope-based releases, not the feature-based releases. Deadline-based releases. So we're gonna have the new release at the very moment when we're gonna say that, okay, we have achieved our goal. Of course, there will be some basic idea like the quarter maybe when the release could be done, but we don't want to make the delays anymore, and we want to deliver the best feature possible in the next release instead of giving like half of the feature ready. And after the roadmap, I mean, it's part of the roadmap, obviously, but a little bit broader vision is that we are slowly getting to the end of a certain era of the Sylius development. I mean, it's a lot of years ahead of us to keep on 1.x versions going, but the entire effort with API platform that already started 2 years ago, as I said, already put us with one big leg into the headless era, which is doing well for a few years already. And we want to be better, obviously, in this area. So there will be a lot of things that support headless development, like software development kits, Dockerization that we're already working on, the finalization of the new API platform support, and so on. And there is also a very long-term vision for something that is internally called market system that I am forbidden to speak about. So let's have it as a teaser, and let's keep the general idea in your minds that we're going into that direction. All right, and here is the time for the Q&As. I think we should tackle them together, Łukasz, starting from the first question. I guess it's from Stefan, right? Regarding recycle. Yes. So go ahead, Łukasz.
First question was just to read the question regarding recycle. There were some feedback asking why isn't Sylius following Symfony recycle. What are our input on that? And Symfony makes great job, and we would love to follow it as close as possible. For sure, we cannot follow it one-to-one, especially that we need to move our release cycle at least a few weeks, because usually it takes some time to adapt it. Also, it's that when we decided for the 1.0 releases, I cannot recall if it's already was set up how the Symfony was released, and we just stick with the what we have previously, which is typical stuff that projects have on the 1.x phase. So the same was true for the Symfony. The same is true for Sylius. We just bringing new features and never have a final call about 2.0. So long story short, what are our input about it, and why do we have this release cycle? Because none of us decided that we need only 4 versions of the minor, and then make a call to follow exactly the Symfony structure. Secondly, we are a slightly different product, and it's hard for us to determine exactly on the time base, what you already hear from team. We are moving away from time-based commitment or time-based releases in order to provide feature-based releases, which will be totally incompatible with the Symfony release cycle. But this is to be honest, that's yet to be decided. So there are like several factors of it. No one decided for that. We try to be time-based, but due to other constraints, it's just easier for us to be scope constrained. That's why we think about it. And also the change become relevant to us later than we thought. I would say that that's all from my take over the Symfony release.
Yeah, and there's another question from Jeremy Perchet. Sorry if I misspell.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Sylius team, is it planned to complete the promotions with new rules like 2 bot, 1 free, or 4 bot, the cheapest of the 4 free type promotions? Thanks in advance.
That's the question probably best directed to Magda, our product owner. From what I know, we'll not develop something like that internally. So it's rather to the community to provide a set of rules. We never helped to gather together something like that, but probably this is one of the best things that can be added as a plugins, because it doesn't need anything additional than just services that will calculate it, and it's easy to plug and play. So perhaps this is a great stuff to solve as a community effort. If something like that will be brought to the Sylius repository and will have approval from the product owner, I will happily merge it to the code base, but we rather do not plan to extend the rule set that we have already in the code base, to keep it simple and also not overwhelm for the people that do not use it. That would be my answer.
True that. David Corti, what about when you have 10K products?
It was the question about the catalog promotion. So the default implementation of Sylius is calculating all of the catalog promotions asynchronously, but only with the doctrine. So when you have 10K products, and I assume that 10K products for now means 10K SKUs, so 10K variants, we'll split the all product catalog. So we'll just fetch all of the codes from the database without iteration of the object. We'll split into 100 variant batches and also put it to the queue. So this means that we will just push it to the doctrine and keep the messages there. And then there's a background worker that will bring every message with the 100 variants. We'll try to calculate catalog promotion for each of them, and then flush 100 variants into database. So it means that there was another related question. Is it calculated when you created the promotion? Yes, exactly. So when you when you create the catalog promotion, then the first message will trigger like the snowball effect. Will split the product catalog into batches that can be also configured by default. It's 100, and in the background job you will calculate a variance in batches. And this means that if you have more workers, of course, you will calculate it faster because several workers may bring up just another variance. So there will be no there's no option for blocks between them because every worker is independent of others. Also because it will work on different variants. Okay, I hope that it's more or less clear.
Yeah, for sure. And Stefan said that he's working on Sylius 1.10 with Symfony 5.4 and PHP 8.0, not yet 1.11. And I would ask how many of you here already upgraded, and if you did, what is your experience? We have a few minutes for you to share it, so please write it down on the chat if you can. And if you haven't yet, please tell us when you are planning to upgrade. There is also a message from Jost. Very nice improvement on the API, guys. Really good job.
I'm glad to hear that.
I think Lucas, it's for you and the team. So I'm not even grateful because I didn't do it.
But I will move forward the message to the team. They will also appreciate a kind word. So thank you very much.
Thank you. So is there anyone else?
Stefan asked about what's up with the future ideas, creating orders by admin. Isn't that already a plugin? Yes, admin order creation is already a plugin, and if I recall correctly, it's even an official one. But we want to bring it to the core, as it's will make our lives easier. And we just decided that it's final time to just remove it as a plugin and then bring to the code base. If I recall correctly, if I'm mistaken, probably our product owner will make some errata about it.
I'm quite sure it was about like rewriting this feature in the core because the plugin is a little bit outdated, and we need to think again about the better architecture for this feature. But yeah, that's what I know. What else is there? What about to have free trial if there is a product as service? So for example, you can try it for a couple of days and then to decide to buy it. Question from Vladan. It sounds like a feature requirement. There is no such thing. I mean, it could be probably a plugin, and like it sounds quite unique. Product trial.
Yeah. So I assume that we will not implement it to the codebase. At least I never heard about this feature itself. It's something that we might do for our services as Sylius probably, but rather it will be tough for us to implement in the generic way so everyone can benefit from it. So unfortunately, I don't have any better answer to that.
Same here, sorry. Okay, there is a message from Jakub from Bitbag that they started upgrading process for all the plugins. And as you know, Bitbag has like over, I think, a few dozens of plugins. So 4 are released already. Thank you guys for keeping all of them up to date. David said that he's on 1.10, planning to update ASAP in 2 weeks. You are doing a great job. Thanks again. Thank you. Let us know on Slack if the update is successful. Marco Nearboss says that they will upgrade later this week to 1.11. Great. Magdalena, our product owner, confirmed we were right about the admin order feature.
Hi, Magda.
Hi, Magda. Good to see you.
Support PHP 8.1. That's a great question. And no, it's so I will just take over because I saw the next question. PHP 8.1 is not yet supported, and we are mostly hold back with PHP spec. Unfortunately, there's some peers that try to bring PHP 8.1 support for PHP spec, which is quite sad for us that the dev dependency is just holding us back, and people could actually benefit from PHP 8.1. Therefore, we are planning to move forward even without main PHP repository. To be honest, today I had the conversation with the whole core team what we can do about it, and probably we will just decide for fork if nothing will change this week. So we'll just fork the PHP spec and merge support for the next version. We'll never allow ourselves to bring new features to PHP spec. We don't want to replace the library itself, but we just want to bring the support for our community, and that's why we're designing for this move. So the truth is that some PHP spec is holding us back. We'll probably just fork it to bring PHP 8.1, and then if it finally will be merged, we'll just drop the fork. So that's the long answer. That will be detailed, but I hope you enjoy it. It's exactly what Jakub said about being blocker on the chat on the YouTube.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so that's it. Unless there is any new message that I have missed, I think we could slowly finish. Of course, you can post more questions on Slack. You know where to find us. If somebody is not on our Slack, it's very simple to join, sylius.com/Slack, and the automated invite should be sent to your mailbox. If you don't find it there, it could be in your spam. Sometimes it happens. And yeah, you will definitely find us there.
Okay, so for now, thank you everyone for joining us for today's session. Also, let us know if you enjoyed it and if we should make it more often. With Tim, we were really eager to meet you, and probably if you wish, we can do it more often just to answer your questions, because it's also a pleasure for us to spend some time with you as a community.
Yeah, and suggest us what we can improve about this format. I guess it's our first time. Maybe we should make it less official, more often, like every month, you know, with yerba mate or beer, whatever you like. There are plenty of things going on all the time, so maybe we can make it tradition to have this webinar in a loose atmosphere every month. Maybe we should give you the voice, just not the chat. So whatever comes to your mind, so you can give us your suggestions on Slack, so we could improve the format in the future.
So yeah,
Okie dokie. That would be all.
Thanks for your time, and see you on the Slack.
Thank you very much. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.